Okay, so what we've done is we've loosened up all the bolts on the water pump. There's 9 of them. They're all 10mm bolts. Just use a ratchet and a socket, break them loose. What we've done is we took them all the way out, one at a time. Then we threaded them in a couple threads because they're different lengths. So you have to make sure that those bolts go back in the same spot. So we threaded all the bolts back in a couple threads. Then what we're going to do is we're going to break this loose from the engine, and the bolts will hold it in so it doesn't fall. And then we'll loosen all the bolts up the rest of the way out, and we can pull all the bolts out with the water pump, and then we can line them up, set them in a position so we know where they go. So just pry between somewhere in here, not on the connector, but somewhere between the engine and the water pump housing. Gently pry it, and it'll come loose. And you'll have more coolant will drain out. So make sure you have your bucket over there. So now that we have that loose, we're going to go ahead and get these bolts the rest of the way out. But don't pull them out, leave them in the housing so you can pull them all out at once. And they'll stay in the holes. And then we'll know exactly where they need to be. So that's what we're going to work on now. I'll show you how this works. And once we get this off of here, we're going to lay it over there on a piece of cardboard, or if you have a bench or something, or a rag to lay it on. You can lay it next to the new pump, and you can lay out the bolts where they need to go in the position, so you remember what goes where. And then we're going to have a couple parts off of this one that we have to transfer to the new one, because the new one doesn't come with them. That one's loose. This one, got one more down here in the corner. Just make sure you hold on to it, because once all the bolts are out, it'll fall. And then just gently tilt it. Be careful not to hit the radiator. Squeeze it out of there. And you can, as you can see from the back side, all of our bolts are still in. Now what we can do is we can come over here. We're going to do this on the floor. So we're going to put our new pump right next to it, so just lay it down. And we'll just lay our bolts in order, some sort of order like this, so we know where they go. As you can see, they're different lengths. So that's why you want to put them out, because you don't want to put the short one in, of course, into the longer spot, because it won't reach, and the long ones will definitely be too long and they won't hold. So we have all our bolts laid out in place. What we need to do is we're going to have to transfer this pipe and the coolant sensor over to the new water pump here. And they'll go in those holes. So, and what you're going to need to do, we'll show you that when we get ready to install them. But right now we're going to get the wrenches we need. We're going to break these loose. They're going to be tight, so what you're going to want to do is with the old one, you can just put your foot on it so it doesn't come up, and you can pull it to break it loose. I'll show you on this one. The pipe here takes a 1-inch wrench. Get that thing on there. Just hold it in place. Oh! And you get it loose. It's real tight. Probably sealed with Teflon tape or some sort of pipe sealant that seals the thread so the coolant doesn't leak through. So we're going to take this off. We're going to take this one off. We'll let you know what size wrench that is, and we'll be right back when we're ready to install them into the new one. Okay, we have got the pipe out and the coolant sensor. So what we're going to do is we're going to get ready to transfer them to the new pump. What you need is Teflon tape, which is this white stuff here. It's not sticky like tape, but what it does is it seals the threads, and keeps it from corroding, and helps to prevent leaks. You can also get this, it's called pipe sealant. It'll be a liquid, will do the same job. We like to use the tape stuff itself. So just wrap it around. You don't want too much, but you have to need to cover all the threads. So maybe one, maybe 2 times around at the most. And just tear it, and that's ready to install here. So I'll go ahead and thread this in by hand. And then we'll snug it down with the wrench when we're done. And one good thing to remember is pay attention to which way it threads in, how you put your tape on, because you want the end of it, I'll show you here in a second once we wrap this around. This is going to turn this way, so you want the end of the tape to be over here on this side, so when you turn it, it stays on. If we had it the other way, it would crumple up and bunch up and cause a problem. So we'll thread this in here.
And that was a 19.
And this was a 19 millimeter wrench, or 3/4 may work, but we know 19 fits for sure. Alright, I got that in by hand. Our new pump did not come with a thermostat. We recommend replacing the thermostat if you put a new pump in. But we have recently put this one in just a few months back, so we know that this thermostat's still good. So we're just going to transfer it to the new pump. So this has 3 8 millimeter bolts, or 5/16 works the same. Those are pretty much interchangeable sizes there. For this, we like to use 1/4 inch drive, real small. That way when we tighten it down, we don't over tighten it and break the bolt off or pull the threads out. So we're going to take this out, spin this out here. These are all the same length, so you don't have to worry about positioning them like we did with the bolts that hold the water pump on. Get this thing out of here. Okay, and then we just there we go. Pull that out. What we need to do is you can gently, if you could hand me a screwdriver, show them how to get this out of here if it's a little bit stuck. Real gently, you can take a screwdriver and kind of just wiggle it to get this out of here. We're going to see if we can get this out and show you. No, that one's too big. So we need a smaller screwdriver to get all the way through. Don't want to tear anything up.
We'll be back.
Alright, we've got the thermostat housing outlet on. Bolts are tightened down. We tightened down the coolant sensor and the pipe. Just get them as tight as you can. We showed you to put the old pump on the floor to take the pipe and the sensor off. Don't do that with the new one. You don't damage the edge. You'll feel when they're tight. You can just do it, like maybe lay it on a towel on a bench or something. Tighten them down. We have our new seal in. And we're going to throw this thing on. We're going to put it on. We're going to tighten it down. And then we'll be back to show you the next step.